I'll be honest, I enjoy the journey I'm on right now. I absolutely enjoy the journey I'm right now. I do watch still other entrepreneurs for inspiration on YouTube. Not so much TikTok. And I was actually saying something to my stepdaughter's boyfriend the other day, and we were talking about like the differences with TikTok and his generation. He's in his late 20s, early 20s actually, and I just think YouTube is better. Point blank period. YouTube is just better at building an audience because of the long form. You can still put short form content on YouTube. We all understand this, but the long form, I think, is where you really build the core people that are going to follow you in the future. The main people that are really going to hold on to every word you say and really believe in your journey are going to be the people watching your long form content. It's not going to be somebody watching a short. I just don't think that's going to happen, you know. And when you are over 40s, over 50s, it's easy to find something that you could use to a skill or a job or something that you've done either in your present or your past that you could coach people on. And what I love about YouTube and this whole thing, online space, is you don't gotta be an expert. I realize now you don't have to even pretend to be an expert. You don't have to be an expert. You just share your journey. That's all I'm doing right now, is I'm just sharing my journey. I got a real LLC now. I've showed that in many videos. Right now, my business bank account, the only one I have is Relay Bank right now, which is a fintech company. I do plan on doing a credit union, preferably a local credit union for the business. That is a goal. But I'm not rushing that part right now. Right now, my only goal is to really just continue on what I've been doing, is making money. Making money while I'm going through leveling up my personal credit before I go crazy on the funding end of this. And now once I do get funding for this LLC, which is, I look at it as my operational company. You know, I call this the Facebook play because Facebook kind of started out as just a operational company, and then later they built Meta. That's kind of like where I'm going. Except in Facebook's case, they were incorporated, and then Meta, they just changed their name to Meta and made Facebook name a division of it. I'm taking my current operational company, I'm going to build credit on that, and then with the money or credit that I have, build a even bigger company, a C Corp with an actual physical location. Now, why a physical location? Physical location because right now I'm working with a virtual address, which will work for some stages of the business building credit part. But once we get to the point where we get to the C Corp level, you gotta have traditional stuff. That's why I'm going with the traditional Inc. C Corp. And then you want to have a real brick and mortar location. We're going to get a real phone line. We don't have to go as far back as fax. Those days are over. But a real phone line where a real person picks up. Might not be me, but a real person is going to be picking up. And this is how we're going to get credit from the major banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. But right now, I'm happy with the banks I'm working with because we don't need a lot. Really, I'm just looking at maybe $150K between personal and business on this LLC, and I can stop. Because it's only going to take me a few grand to, it probably will take me $5,000 to set up the C Corp exactly the way I need it. And most of that is going to be what? A physical location. Even if I got to rent a spot. I'm thinking bigger down the line with the C Corp as far as buying an actual brick and mortar location that we could own. But that could come later. That can come much later. It doesn't have to be now. We can do that 2-3 years from now. Right now, I would be cool with just renting a location, making that the physical location, office, whatever, really being there. So it's going to be a real office that we're actually going to show up to, be there, answer phones, you know. And I think that's going to help us quicker. I say us, but I haven't built a team yet. But that's going to be easier too for me to then approach a team because I have everything in place. Got the physical location. I got, hopefully by then I'll earned enough in corporate credit so I can start payroll. And the payroll obviously will start with myself. So I'll be the first employee of that company. Now for my actual LLC now that I have physically now, I don't think I'm going to set up payroll. What I'll probably do is just from my Really account, just send what would be my pay for the month over. So say I make $5,000 that month, I'll pay myself $2,000 and just send that over to my personal Chase account. I'll just do it like that. And I'm glad I also have an old relationship with Chase, because what that's going to do is when I'm ready to do the C Corp for the new entity, it's going to be a new business name. It's going to be the holding company of this LLC. I already have a good relationship with Chase. Once they see my scores up, I already have a personal account. I can literally move money from that personal account into the C Corp's account because I have a personal account already there. So the transition is going to be easy to set it up. And Chase is probably one of the biggest corporate lines of credit you could probably get right out the gate. So I don't even want to rush pulling the trigger with that. I'm not going to rush that. Right now, like I said, all I need is really to accumulate maybe 150K. That'll be enough for my LLC. And out of that, I will probably upgrade or purchase a second vehicle. That might be the only thing I purchase out of that. The rest will just go towards maintaining the business, keeping things going, and a small amount to set up that new corporation with a real law firm, if I didn't already mention that. That's when you go to the real law firm. Now with this LLC, I didn't do that. I went to Busy, I think it was formerly InkFile, set it up there. I like it, streamlined, you have all your paperwork in the dashboard and so forth. And I got links below for the places I use for your website and your business email. Those got to go together, and a place for you to get your real business phone number, which I think now you should use local numbers. I think we should get away from the toll-free numbers. I think you should use a local number. Now, will I say there probably will be some type of AI receptionist that will run my business when we're not there, but then it'll reroute where we pick up at a certain time of day. We'll probably do it that way. We'll have our own AI agent, answer the phones, whatever. Can't be an AI marketing agency and you don't have your own AI agent, you know what I mean? And I'm doing all this with again, I'm 55, no technical skills or background. The only advantage I might have over, say, a brand new person is I've been on YouTube for a while. I don't get a lot of views, but I've been here long enough where I generate just enough views where I get some traffic. That's maybe the only advantage I have over some people. I was in communications industry for years, but I wasn't that technical, meaning I just knew how to use pagers and phones from back in the day. You know, the phone industry just don't pay like it used to, or I'd probably still be doing that. And it's not out of the idea to go back to doing that on a small scale, like selling services and products from the physical location just to get traffic. I am thinking about doing that. I have thought about it. Just to get traffic, we set it up that way. But I haven't had a brick and mortar business for a long time. I did have a cell phone store all the way back in 98 to about 2003, where I gave up and I went to sell for the big box companies. First an indirect dealer, and then I went to a major dealer. And I think my last retail job was physically Bed Bath & Beyond. Not my last job, but my last long-term job. I think I worked for a community center and a group home after that, and I was done. Never physically did anything other than Uber driver and content creator, and made a little bit of money affiliate marketing along the way. But I'm not gonna lie, it was mostly rideshare. I've been a rideshare driver now going on, almost 9 years. So I've been on YouTube even longer than that. And this is probably my last year. I know I say it every year, but this is definitely my last year doing rideshare for the apps, let's say. I am thinking about continuing doing some delivery stuff, because with corporate and business credit, it's easy to get the main thing we need, which is cars, trucks, and it'll be easy for me to hire people to use those vehicles to generate money for my company. So I am thinking about doing that, because it's working. It's bringing in money, it's generating cash flow. So why would I not continue doing that? Even though I don't want this to be a transportation company, there may be a transportation division created. Like, we literally might create a separate LLC just for the vehicles, because they're high risk, to separate the liability from my other companies, and then have my C Corp actually own all the companies we create. once we have enough credit, we're going to be in a low risk space, which is software, which is technology. But we're really going to be an acquisitions company, meaning we're really just going to go after and purchase other companies, preferably in marketing or media. So we stay in the same niche, but the goal is to start acquiring smaller companies. This is going to make us look really legitimate and make that main C Corp, that holding company, worth a lot of money simply because it owns so many other companies. Even if they're failing, we have ownership, which is going to make us look very valuable. Hopefully we can take this company public or sell it. And the reason why I might maintain and keep Blandrake separate, I'm thinking maybe an S Corp, is because if I sell the C Corp, I want to have something for myself separate, But we'll look at that down the line, because the trust could play that part. I'm going to get a living trust at some point. There's just so much I want to do. And once we have the credit and buying power, I know I can hire the right people to do it. Like literally, I'll build, if I had, say, $100,000 set aside in payroll to hire somebody, I could go out and get the best of the best, literally just to use software and AI tools to build me something way bigger and better than I could ever build. Point blank, period. And still take credit and ownership of it in my company. And I can actually make them do it on my company-owned computer. So I can make them keep that in-house, that software development in-house on my actual computer that I own, just for safety, you know what I mean? And then offer that person probably a share in the company if they're that good. I want 3 people, I'm thinking, to build the main C Corp at some point. I need that first person that's technical, knows a lot more about these AI tools than I do, preferably younger, of course. That could be Chief Technology Officer. You give everybody a nice title, and they'll be on the board as well. I need a Chief Financial Officer, somebody that comes in, manages all the money, controls all the books, preferably from one financial platform, and could tell me what we're making and what we're losing. And could also goes after more grants and loans. And finally, Chief Operating Officer. This person can't just be about bossing people around. They have to be a salesperson. They have to be a major salesperson. And I also want them to have preferably a huge social media following. Because with that social media following, everybody's got to have somewhat of a social media following. But what we're going to do with the social media following is obviously promote the business. Now, I could throw in there maybe a Chief Marketing Officer, but I'm kind of that, even though I'm CEO, Chief Executive Officer. I can still concentrate on the marketing aspect as the face and the brand of the company. Now, I don't even think I'm that attractive to be the face of brand of anything. This is where AI comes in, makes me look better. I can do an AI avatar, take out my flaws, my blemishes, my dark spots around my eye. I already do it with the AI generated thumbnails. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I could build something bigger just leveraging credit and the little bit of know-how I do know about marketing, that's going to get me to that next level. All I gotta do is focus on marketing this one LLC now. And my first product, if you're interested, the Family LLC Club, is for people over 40 that are ready to set up a low-risk entity, how to fund it, how to maintain it, how to build something even bigger if they want to, like myself. That's what we're going to be talking on. For non-technical people, it's perfect. Less than a cup of coffee a day, $27 a month. And this is what I built. But there'll be other membership and things down the line, but this is my low entry level membership. I had other memberships in the past, but for some reason they didn't work out. I'm hoping this works out, and it's no fluff. There's going to be a lot of content in there going forward for probably the next year, bare minimum. You know, so whatever content's there now, there's going to be more. So just be prepared for that. That's not all of it, what you see there. And all I'm going to do is be honest with you guys. You know, I used to be like hypey and try to get you guys pumped up. I no longer need to do that because I'm focusing more on building my own stuff and just sharing that journey. I'm not even trying to sell you anything hard, you know. That membership is entry level. There's going to be a lot of bigger things like Glendon Cameron level, you know, things we're going to be selling. Like probably like $5,000 in the future. Once we built and created a community of people already making money, that's when we're going to go on high end and build those platforms and tools that really make us look really big, really professional. You know, and it's all thanks to AI. I can't lie. It changed the game for everybody. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for listening to me rant. Going to see my grandkids right now. Haven't seen them in a minute. I kind of miss them. Again, thank you for your continued support. If you've been seeing me for the first time, it only gets better as I get older, I think. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you. I don't know what this truck is doing.